It was just past 4 o'clock in the afternoon when Marcus Ellington stepped out of his black rental car and into the mellow coastal breeze of Santa Rosa, California. Before him stood the Sterling Grand Hotel, towering and polished, a modern marvel with seamless glass doors that parted soundlessly. Marcus wore a simple gray hoodie, dark jeans, and sneakers worn smooth from miles of city sidewalks. Nothing about him screamed wealth, and that was precisely how he intended it. He paused just outside the entrance, surveying the steady stream of guests moving in and out, suitcases rolling, business folders clutched tightly, children laughing, the muted click of dress shoes echoing on tile floors. Inside, the lobby glowed in clean, golden light. The marble floors gleamed like mirrors, and the staff behind the long front desk wore tailored uniforms that fit like armor. It was a place designed for high-profile conferences, discreet wealth, and reunions funded by generations of old money. Marcus knew the type well. He had studied it for most of his life from the outside. But today, he wasn't here to observe. He wasn't here to blend in either. Today, he owned it. Stealing himself, Marcus walked through the doors and approached the front desk. The receptionist, a blonde woman with a sharp bob and an even sharper attitude, didn't look up at first. Her name tag read Madison Blake. Her matte lipstick was immaculate. Her navy blazer fitted like a second skin. Madison was the type of person who smiled only when required, and even then, it was the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. When she finally raised her gaze, she scanned Marcus slowly, deliberately, and then turned back to her computer without a word. "Good afternoon," Marcus said, his voice neutral and unassuming. "I was hoping to ask." "We're full," Madison interrupted without so much as a glance. "No walk-ins. You'll need to book online." Marcus blinked. "I'm not here to—" She lifted her hand dismissively, cutting him off mid-sentence. "Sir, you need to step aside. This area is for guests only." Her voice was loud enough to draw curious glances from the lobby. A man in a navy suit by the espresso bar looked over his coffee cup. A couple by the elevators paused their conversation to watch. Marcus noticed it all, but he didn't react. Yet, "I'm not loitering," Marcus said evenly. "I'm here to speak with someone from management." Madison leaned forward, resting her manicured elbows on the counter. "About what exactly? Unless you have a reservation or a contact name, there's nothing I can do for you." Marcus met her gaze without hostility, but with a patience that made her visibly uncomfortable. "I do have a name," he said. "Ellington." Madison squinted, unimpressed. "And who's that supposed to be?" "Me." She blinked, then smirked slightly. "Well, Mr. Ellington, we still can't have people off the street expecting to meet with management. You don't exactly look like someone they'd be expecting." It wasn't the words, it was the way she said them, laced with an undercurrent of judgment she didn't even bother to hide. "Understand," Marcus replied calmly. "But you're making an assumption you shouldn't." Madison scoffed lightly. "No offense, but I've been here for 6 years. I know the kind of clientele this place attracts. You're not the first guy to try and bluff his way upstairs." A knot twisted in Marcus's gut, not from anger, but from familiarity. He had seen this happen more times than he could count. Some doors opened slowly. Some never opened at all. This one, it was about to swing wide open, and Madison didn't even realize it. But he stayed silent for now, hands in his pockets, observing her. Madison glanced around the lobby, maybe looking for backup, maybe just hoping for someone else to validate her actions. No one moved. People noticed, sure, but no one said a word. The air between them grew thick with an unspoken tension. "You're not listening," Marcus said, slightly firmer this time. "I told you I'm not here for a room." "Then why are you here?" Madison shot back, folding her arms tightly. "Because unless you're delivering a package or applying for a job, you have no business back here." Marcus kept his tone steady. "Are those the only 2 roles you think I could possibly have?" A flash of irritation crossed Madison's face. "Sir, don't make this difficult. You're holding up the line." There was no line. A woman had approached the desk, but stopped short, clutching her phone awkwardly and glancing between them. Madison immediately shifted her demeanor, plastering on a bright, artificial smile. "Welcome to the Sterling Grand," she said to the woman, sugary sweet. The woman hesitated, glancing at Marcus, then mumbled, I'll wait. I just had a question. Marcus didn't move. His voice remained level, but there was a weight behind it now. You're speaking to me like I don't belong here. Like I walked in off the street just to cause trouble. Tell Mato you treat everyone like this? Or is it just me? Madison's smile vanished instantly. Excuse me? You heard me. She straightened, face tight. Sir, I don't appreciate your tone. You're being aggressive. I haven't raised my voice, Marcus replied. And the only person who seems uncomfortable here is you. Her cheeks flushed a deep red. She looked around again, saw the subtle movements the people watching, the phones half raised, the slight shaking of heads. You need to leave now, Madison hissed, her voice low but sharp, or I'll have security escort you out. Marcus exhaled slowly, as if giving her one last chance. You sure that's the choice you want to make? Her chin jutted out stubbornly. Absolutely. Without rushing, Marcus reached into his back pocket. Madison stiffened slightly, her body tensing like he might cause a scene. But all he pulled out was his phone. He didn't even unlock it. I suggest you call Jason Thorne, he said quietly. Tell him Marcus Ellington is in the lobby. Madison's forehead creased. Jason Thorne, the general manager. And you think he's going to come down here for you? She asked, her voice dripping with disbelief. Marcus didn't answer. He didn't have to. With a dramatic sigh, Madison picked up the phone and dialed quickly. Hi, Jason. It's Madison at the front desk. How about someone here. Says his name's Marcus Ellington. Claims he knows you. Her voice was light, almost mocking. She listened in, then her entire body stilled. Her mouth parted slightly. Her fingers trembled. Yes, of course, she said, suddenly stiff. Right away. She hung up and stared at Marcus, her expression shifting into something close to panic. He's on his way down. Thank you, Marcus said politely. Before Madison could stammer an apology, the executive hallway doors opened and Jason Thorne himself strode into the lobby. Tall, composed, his navy suit sharp and pressed. Jason moved with the urgency of a man who understood that appearances could become reality very quickly. The moment Jason's eyes landed on Marcus, his expression transformed from professional neutrality to warm recognition. Mr. Ellington, he called out, crossing the lobby with an outstretched hand. I wasn't expecting you until next week. Change of plans, Marcus said, shaking his hand firmly. Decided to stop by early. Wanted to get a feel for the place before everything becomes official. Jason chuckled nervously. Of course, of course. Behind the desk, Madison stood frozen, piecing together what was happening and realizing too late that the ground beneath her had shifted. Is there a conference room we can use? Marcus asked casually. Absolutely. Right this way, Jason replied, already guiding him. But Marcus didn't move yet. Before we go, he said, voice steady, I want her to come with us. Jason blinked, confused. Madison? Of course. He turned to her. Madison, please join us. She hesitated, unsure if she was being promoted or sentenced. But after a beat, she followed, heels clicking nervously on the marble floor. The group walked past sculptures and muted conversations, disappearing into the executive wing toward the Heritage Room's sleek, gleaming space usually reserved for board meetings and dignitaries. Inside, several department heads had already gathered, prepping for a different meeting. When Marcus entered, the room shifted instantly. People stood. Jason cleared his throat. Everyone, he announced, this is Mr. Marcus Ellington. As of this month, he's our new majority owner. The room fell utterly silent. Marcus gave a small nod, then walked to the head of the table. He didn't sit. I'm not here for a meet and greet, he began, his voice firm but calm. I'm here to see how this place actually operates, how it treats people who walk through those front doors when there's no press release or corporate memo hanging over your heads. He glanced pointedly at Madison, who shrank under his gaze. I walked in wearing jeans and a hoodie. No assistant. Nobody. No entourage. And I was treated like an intruder. He paused, letting that settle. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't demand special treatment. I didn't even finish explaining why I was here before assumptions were made about me. Madison's face flushed crimson. And that tells me something deeper than bad manners. It tells me about culture. Marcus leaned forward slightly, the room hanging onto every word. When I was 12, he said, I watched my mother get turned away from a hotel just like this one. Reservation confirmed. Payment ready. But they said the system was down. We slept in our car that night. He looked around, daring anyone to look away. I made myself a promise. One day, I'd own a place like this, and no one's mother would be treated like she didn't belong. The room remained deathly still. Marcus turned to Madison. I don't hate you, he said softly. I don't even want to humiliate you. But what you did today, whether you meant to or not, was a reflection of something toxic. Something dangerous. Madison swallowed hard, blinking rapidly. I'll submit my resignation, she whispered. That's your choice, Marcus said gently. But what matters more is whether you change. As the weight of his words settled over the room, Marcus finally sat. We fix this now, he said simply, from the inside out. And as the weeks passed, the Sterling Grand began to transform not in marble or chandeliers but in spirit. It was slower than paint drying. It was quieter than any policy memo. But it was real. Respect was no longer reserved for those who looked the part. It was given freely to every soul who crossed through those glass doors. And Marcus? He kept walking that lobby, hoodie or no hoodie, smiling quietly to himself. Because he knew change had finally arrived. And this time, it was here to stay.